Hello and welcome to Exposure TV. I'm Rachel Thomas.
And I'm Abby Bourne. We've got a jam-packed show coming up with everything from boat rides to street art.
So let's take a look at what you could be seeing today.
But before all of that, let's go over to the cloud and find out how you can get in touch with us today and offer up your views.
Thank you guys. Sounds like we're going to have a good show today. Now for the past few days, you lot have been fairly quiet on the Twitter, so let's turn that around today and get as many tweets as possible coming in. Our theme today is law and order, and we want you to get tweeting in telling us if you feel safe in Britain. Let us know if you think there are things that could change to make you feel safer, or if you think that perhaps safety has gone too far. And as always, you can contact us on Twitter at TV Exposure or through our Facebook page by searching for Exposure Radio and TV. We love hearing from you, so if you have anything at all to say, keep those messages coming in.
Now, as actually mentioned, our theme for today is law and order. A report from the Institute for Economics and Peace found UK murders have fallen between 2003 to 2012, and they suggested that overall the UK was a more peaceful place. We're now joined by the Police Commissioner for South Wales, Alan Michael. Hello Alan, it's lovely for you to come in today, thank you very much.
It's a great pleasure.
So firstly, what are your thoughts on the report?
I think the report is a bit weak on some of the international comparisons, but it's certainly accurate to say that the United Kingdom is a safer place than it was some years ago. And that isn't by accident. I was a minister at the Home Office in 1998 when we introduced the Crime and Disorder Act, which recognises that levels of crime aren't just about what the police do. In fact, the police and the court systems have very little impact on how much crime we have. And what's important is actually what all sorts of other agencies do. It's about how young people are brought up, it's about jobs and opportunity, it's about how we deal with mental health, housing, a whole set of other issues. And so since 1998, we've had an approach that's been based on two things: an evidence-based approach by the police into why crime happens and how to reduce it, and an engagement with partners, local authorities particularly, but others like the Health Service, creating a partnership approach to reducing crime and preventing it happening in the first place. And that's what we're seeing, and this report accurately reflects the success that actually continues. We have just had the figures today which show that violence in South Wales went down by 2.6% last year. Now that means 443 fewer victims, so whereas percentages don't get people excited, having that number of people who haven't become victims in the last year demonstrates real progress, and I find it quite exciting.
Okay, so do you think that the introduction of police community support officers has helped to make Britain a safer place?
Yes, I do. Lots of people like the idea of neighbourhood police officers, and neighbourhood policing has been of great benefit. The problem with neighbourhood police officers is very often, after a year or two, they're taken off to do other things because they need a wide experience in order to work through, to gain promotion and so on. And also, when things go wrong, you know, if there's a big event in Cardiff or Swansea and lots of police officers have to be pulled into the city centre, then obviously they're pulled off community duties. The strength of the community support officers is being there continuously all the time, and therefore having contact with the public, listening to the public and communicating the experience of the public. So I think they're a great success, and we're very, very lucky in Wales because Welsh Government agreed to fund an additional 500 community support officers. So we'll have an additional 206 in South Wales, which means more people there available to communicate with the public and make sure that the police service, in being reactive, is well informed and is able to listen to the community. I think they've made a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. And with the growth of the internet, do you think that there is a new area that requires safety monitoring?
Yes, I do. Actually, during my time in Parliament, from which I stood down last October, I was chairing an all-party group that was looking at internet-related issues. And last September, I published a report prepared by Professor Michael Levy of Cardiff University, if I'm allowed to mention another institution. Michael did this piece of work, really asking the questions, would it work if, just as we've done in local communities, you have a partnership approach, we did so online. It's an excellent report which said yes, and one of my priorities as Police and Crime Commissioner is to develop the means of having local partnership working. I think people tend to think because the internet is so fast, so universal, so international, that there's nothing you can do about it. Well, all those things are true, and there are all the threats to the infrastructure which we need to worry about. But also, there are a lot of things that are local. For instance, cyberbullying very often is people in a local community.
Yeah.
Lots of the vulnerability for children and young people. Child abuse online is a disgrace, which we're tackling better in the United Kingdom than anywhere else.
Really?
But it's still a big problem, and we still need to do more.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you very much, Alan. We will learn more about how the people of Cardiff feel about their safety later on in the show, and Alan will also be back to talk to us.
Now we take a look at the charity Cardiff Food Bank and what it does for the community.
So I'm here with Ian Purcell, who's the project manager here at the Cardiff Food Bank. Thanks very much for giving up your time.
Welcome. Good to see you.
So today there was a story released by the BBC saying that across all of Wales, it's more than like double the amount of people going to food banks. Do
Yeah.
you think there's a particular reason for this?
I think there's a whole host of reasons. I don't think we can simplify it to one particular reason.
Yeah.
Increase in terms of food prices, incomes aren't going up quite as much, so that people are having to spend a much larger percentage of their income on food items. With any changes, transitions in terms of benefits, which we are seeing such a large amount of at this particular time, then that's obviously going to cause some knock-on effects and gaps, and we're seeing an increase in the number of people coming to us as a result of benefit cuts and benefit delays. But I know that sometimes people can have a stereotypical view of food banks. It's for people who are out of work, people on benefits, but that certainly isn't the case overall. We're seeing an increasing number of people who are in employment and maybe find themselves faced with an unexpected bill and having to come and make use of the food bank services. Not just only here in Cardiff, but throughout Wales. That's the case.
And for you personally, have you noticed that like an increase in the last year of people coming to the food
Yes,
bank?
yeah, there's no doubt about it. We're seeing increases. Thankfully, we're seeing increases in donations. Like, you may look around the warehouse and think, oh, looks like a good stock of food. And it's great because we have seen volunteers, finances and food has kept rate with the growth in terms of the demand at this particular time. So may that long continue for as long as there's a need.
How do you go about like donating food to the food bank? Is there a website, or can literally people just come here and?
We do get a number of people coming here, but because we're tucked around the corner a little bit, not on the high street or a presence where sometimes people find it difficult to find us. The vast majority of our food is brought by people who've collected from their own community group or within their workplace, places of studies, schools. As far as we do have collections in a couple of universities as well, and we may go with a van to collect those from the university.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Ian, for your time.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
best
no
of luck
worries.
with everything else, and hope everything goes well. And
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Thanks for that, Tommy. Now, we've got loads more coming up on the show. Still to come on today's show. Let's take a look.
And don't forget, we will also be taking part in a very exciting presenter challenge.
But now it's time for our competition. If you fancy winning some pretty amazing prizes, you might want to pay attention now. All you need to do is answer one simple question.
2 pints, 2 wraps, and 2 free entry to Goody Hoo, a voucher for a New York sandwich, a box of 12 free cupcakes, 20% off a personalised pet portrait, 10% off a photography session with Abigail Lewis Photography, £10 voucher for Milgies, a set of Lego,
and signed pictures from Derek Brockway, as well as Welsh internationals Toby Falatau, Ryan Jones and Jonathan Davis.
Simply answer the following question. Tiger Bay is an area in which city? A. Cardiff, B. Newport, or C. Swansea? Tweet your answers using the hashtag Exposure Competition. Answers will be drawn at random on Friday, April 26th via our Twitter. All decisions are final. Prizes will be for collection at an arranged date. You can enter as many times as you like, but of course no one from the Exposure team may enter. Good luck!
Those cupcakes look incredible. I wish we could enter.
Me too.
The sun is sort of finally starting to make an appearance, and a great way of enjoying the warmth and taking in the views of Cardiff, is to take a trip down to the River Taff. Here's another hidden gem.
Let me introduce you to the Princess Catherine, the water bus service that takes you on a relaxing journey across the River Taff. The boat offers a regular service between Cardiff city centre and Cardiff Bay, giving you the opportunity to indulge in all that Cardiff has to offer.
My name's Danny, I own the boat. We bought the boat last May and the boat started work in July, having had lots of inspections by the MCA, who are the people who license the boats in the area, and it runs between Mermaid Quay and the castle, and it means that there's now plenty of capacity so the citizens of Cardiff and visitors can travel down to the bay on a boat or come up to the city centre on a boat.
The water bus is a great treat for everyone, old and young alike.
Hello, we're using the boat today because the kids are off on half term, so we just fancied a day out, and rather than just wandering through the city or, well, trying to find something dry to do really on such a cold day, we thought we'd come out here. We're going for a bit of food, so just a bit of a novelty value to use the boat.
I enjoyed it very nice. It's a lot of views and things to see. Yeah, lovely.
When you get off, you look slightly up to the left, you see Pieces Square.
Yeah.
You know it.
It offers you a tranquil journey through the city with plenty of views and things to see.
Yeah, enjoy your lunch at Pizza Express. Can you see it?
After a shopping trip in the city centre or a visit to the castle, you can hop on this boat and travel down to Cardiff Bay in style.
Going to Cardiff Castle. We're here for a couple of days on holiday because the children are on half term, and we saw the boat, so we thought we'd come and it's something different for the children to do, so we thought it'd be quite fun.
I've worked on boats virtually all my life and I love it, and it's not work, so it's really simple. It's great to wake up and know that you've got something that you're going to do which is pleasurable. It's fantastic.
takes you through Cardiff on a route you won't find on any road map.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh, it looks so nice, really peaceful. I've never actually been on it before myself, have you?
Well, I've actually been on a very similar boat trip. It wasn't the Princess Catherine, but it was the same journey from the park to Mermaid Quay. And yeah, it was a lovely sunny day and it was very relaxing and peaceful. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go, but one of my best friends is actually like a little scared, just fearful of water and going on boats. So what would you say?
Well, there's actually no need to worry about anything like that. It's all enclosed, you know. And as you saw, there were children on that boat, perfectly happy, perfectly comfortable. So yeah, there's no need to be afraid. It's very relaxing.
It's very convenient, isn't it? It's a great way to travel and it's also fun. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you can enjoy the weather as well. And even on a rainy day would be fun, I think, to be honest.
Definitely.
If you've been on the Princess Catherine and have a story for us, tweet in to @TVExposure and Ashley could be reading your tweet out. In fact, let's see what you guys have already been saying.
Thank you, Rachel. Now, we've already got a tweet from Tenebus and they've been promoting the head shaving of Lloyd and Alex. And if you haven't donated already, please, please, please do it because we're only £58 away last time we checked. So we're so close to having their head shaven. Also, our followers, we've now got 562. So if you don't follow us already, please follow us at @TVExposure. And we're going to look at the trending now. And I think one of the most exciting trends is the Iron Man 3. Because that film comes out today and I'm really, really excited about seeing it. And if you've seen it, maybe you could tweet in and say if it's good or not. But also, we still want to hear from you, so tweet us @TVExposure and I could be giving you your 5 seconds of fame. Stay tuned for more with Alan Michael after this quick break.
This isn't a sandwich. This isn't a sandwich. This is a sandwich. The New York Deli, the only place for lunch.
Established in 1957, Caerphilly Mountain Snack Bar is the oldest of its kind in Wales. Situated just outside of the town centre, it offers a huge range of breakfasts, lunches and drinks. From the classic breakfast roll to the snack bar's very own Mountain Monster Burger. The snack bar is famous for its freshly cooked food and is popular with locals and tourists alike. There are over 20 staff here and all items on the menu are freshly prepared and hand-cooked every day. Be sure to visit the Caerphilly Mountain Snack Bar for the best food Wales can offer.
It's like old times, they hear me coming through your speakers.
Hello and welcome to Tequila Radio.
Tequila Radio, the student radio station for Glamorgan. Live from the atrium, into your ears.
Well, the name of the company is Angreft, and my name's Angharad. I've actually been doing like painting and stuff since I was in uni, but these I started doing about a year ago. It was just one of my friends in work asked me to do one of her dog, and then I took it in, and then someone else saw one and asked for one, and then someone else asked for one. Yeah, and this just went from there really. Most of the stuff I get work from is like commissions, so it's mostly people seeing what I've done and then asking if they can have one done at their pet.
Hi there, I'm Emily Ann Wright. I'm originally from Gosport, which is situated across the harbour from Portsmouth on the south coast of England. If I asked my friends to describe me in 3 words, they would describe me as bubbly, fun and caring. I am a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, a niece, an auntie, a cousin and a friend. I have a huge passion for singing and dancing and have been trained in both for many years, and I am also an avid supporter of Liverpool FC. Catch me on Exposure TV.
welcome back to Exposure TV. We still have lots coming up later in the show, including a catch-up with our alumni, Ben Jenkins, to find out what life is like after university. But before that, we are joined once again by Alan Michael, Police Commissioner for South Wales. So hello again.
Hi.
So firstly, what is the Police Commissioner role?
It's an interesting one because the government decided it was going to have a police and crime commissioner for every police force area other than London. Actually, some of the responsibilities are unclear to an extent. Ministers were saying, let's 41 flowers bloom and let's see what happens. But some of the responsibilities are quite interesting. You have to produce the police and crime plan, so say what the priorities are, and that means interfacing with the community, with the public, with local authorities to see what people's priorities are. It's not a priority for us at the moment because we've got a Chief Constable in place and I'm very satisfied with the performance that he's making. But when that arises, then appointing the Chief Constable comes into view, deciding on the budget and the precept, how much people pay for their policing. But to my mind, it's the and crime bit of the title, Police and Crime Commissioner, that's the interesting bit, because that's where you can engage with questions about why does crime happen, how could it be prevented, how can you improve the situation, and that's an area which I'm finding absolutely fascinating.
Great, and how is that role different to your former role as an MP?
Somebody asked me the other day, I won't respond quite on the MP because that's a very mixed role, but how does it compare to being a minister? And my answer to that is, well, you've got the same capacity to initiate. You've got to work out what's practical. Because it's local, you can get your hands around it and see whether things are happening, and you don't get any interference from 10 Downing Street. That last bit is quite an important difference. But you do have to do the same thing as you would as a minister or as an MP, which is there are a lot of things you can do if you can build a strong partnership with people, if you can get people thinking together and working together. For instance, I was at a conference yesterday about people trafficking. And to a great extent, it's difficult to know what's going on because you don't know what you don't know. And therefore, having to engage with people in the health service, in local government, people in the local community to pick up on signs of when things are happening. Perhaps there's exploitation of women and children, or perhaps there's a cannabis factory. Those sorts of things which really it's quite difficult to identify, and the police need the engagement of the community to be able to know that there are things happening and things going wrong. But some of the examples that you heard of the way that people have been exploited and given an absolutely miserable life means that it's something we just can't ignore, and we all need to take some responsibility for trying to tackle it.
Definitely. And how would you say that your career has progressed through all of this?
It's interesting. I tend to think that my career might make sense looking backwards because it sure as heck didn't make sense going forwards. I had 6 years as a journalist, an active trade unionist, and doing some voluntary youth work. I then had 15 years as a youth and community worker, but also a city councillor and also a magistrate, and towards the latter end being chair of the juvenile bench in Cardiff. And then I had 25 years in Parliament, which was an enormous privilege. I think particularly being the policing minister in 97, 98, that period, having the experience of being Secretary of State for Wales and then the first secretary of the new Welsh Assembly and Welsh Government is all useful, but so was spending time on the Justice Select Committee and the Home Affairs Select Committee, asking questions, going into inquiries like why did we have riots in a number of cities in England 2 years ago, and the other question that goes with it is, well, why didn't we have riots in other places? I'm still not sure I know the answer, but how do the problems of drugs, how do we tackle those, not only nationally but internationally? So having the chance of looking at those things was an enormous privilege, but actually very good preparation for this role now of Police and Crime Commissioner.
Great.
Okay, so just quickly, what are your views on the resignation of Paris Brown, the first Youth Police and Crimes Commissioner?
I think it's very sad. I mean, I think that actually putting the onus on one individual, a teenager, was an awful lot of pressure to ask one person to handle. And also, lots of people as teenagers do things that are silly or unpleasant, and it's part of learning and part of growing up. Teenagers don't have a sense of risk. By the way, when I introduced antisocial behaviour orders, ASBOs, they weren't meant for teenagers, they were meant for adults, bad neighbours, because teenagers don't have a sense of risk. And you've got to manage that process of growing up and handle it. I think it's very sad. She was, I think, dealt with very badly by the press and the media, quite cruelly, really. It was a courageous decision. It's not one that I've taken. I am engaging with young people through a panel that we've established, and in a couple of weeks' time I've got the second meeting, which is drawing young people from every youth council across the 7 local authorities in the South Wales Police area, very interestingly, to answer a question that you asked. What do we need to do more about internet-related activities and how to be safe online? And I'm really impressed with the engagement we've had from them.
Great, that's
Brilliant.
great.
Thank you so much for coming in, Alan. We wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Now, for the past 2 weeks, we have brought you interviews with our alumni that are doing well. Today's is Ben Jenkins, a BBC Assistant Production Manager. Here's what he had to say when he popped into the atrium earlier this week to give a brief account of his career since graduating from Glamorgan University.
My name is Benjamin Jenkins. I graduated in 2007 when the University of Glamorgan was based up in Pontypridd in media and performance, and then I came back to the atrium to do my Masters in Film Producing and Business Management. When I left university in 2007, I got a job as a production manager down in the Bay with Calon TV, which is an animation firm, where I production managed a animated pilot for S4C, which went well, and then moved into radio from there and was part of setting up a community radio station which was lottery funded for a radio station for disabled people across the UK, which was based in Pontypool in South Wales, and was production manager for that. And then I decided to come back to university because I really wanted to go into film and film producing, and did a full-time Masters in Film Producing and Business Management, and then I've been working for the BBC over in Bristol on BBC One Bargain Hunt as a production management assistant. Television is where my heart lies. I find it maybe slightly more sexier and more glamorous, but I do love the intimacy of radio, that you can really be talking on a one-to-one basis with your listener. But as a person who wants to get involved in production management and eventually film producing, there's a lot more to do across the board in TV and film. I worked for a short period of time also at BBC in Bristol on Time Shift, which is an archive programme on BBC4, and then previous to that I was up in London working with Stephen Fry's film and TV production company called Sprout Pictures, and working on a range of film ideas, and also a TV drama that was produced for ITV in October of last year called Doors Open, which starred Stephen Fry. I've got my own specific locations which I manage. That includes booking the crew and sorting out their contracts, sorting out locations, hotels for the crew and production staff, the whole logistics of everybody that's going up. And actually, whilst we're on location, I'm managing the contestants who are on Bargain Hunt, and the whole budget of while we're there. I'm sort of the money person of the whole setup. And then when we come back to the production office, it's processing expenses, updating the budgets if we've gone over or under budget, and then processing the whole post-production schedule. I eventually want to go into film producing, because my interests lie in the production management and business side of TV and film. So with film, especially with marketing, distribution, finance in films, there's a lot more of that business side which really interests me and drives me, that I can get involved in.
Well, it seems like Ben has done really well for himself, and we wish him all all the best of luck for his future work. Now, once again, it's over to Ashley to find out what you've all been saying today.
Thanks, Abby. If you're a former Glamorgan student and you're watching, then we would love to hear from you. The link for the Twitter, as always, is @TVExposure. Now, we've been getting loads of tweets in, and I'm just going to read a couple of them out. Lucy Collins has tweeted in saying, I can't wait for Alex and Lloyd to shave their hair. Neither can I. Please, we're still on 58 to go, so please donate so we can shave their head, because I'm really excited about that. And Annie Wheeler's tweeted in, and she says she's loving the show so far, and she thinks it's very informative. She also says to keep up the great work, so hopefully we can keep it up for you. And please keep entering for the competition, because we still get entries coming in, and if you want a chance to win those prizes. Now, following our interview with the Police Commissioner for South Wales earlier, we went out onto the streets of Cardiff to find out if you really feel safer.
Recent research has found that over the past 10 years, the UK has now become a safer place to live in compared to other countries in Western Europe. I asked the people of Cardiff if they agreed with these findings.
It's hard to know for sure, because I think the media can portray Britain in a bit of a pessimistic light. You know, you hear on the news all the time about people being attacked and all these bad things happening, but you don't always hear about the good things. But I think my experience of living here, living locally, yeah, I think Britain is a relatively safe place to live in. Yeah.
No. No at all? Why don't you agree?
It's too violent and a lot's going on, really.
So you don't feel safe living in Britain?
I wouldn't let my kids out in the street on it. No, not at all.
I don't think it is a safer place, no. I think that there's more violence, there's more problems with terrorism, there's everything happening, really, across Britain. So I don't think it is a safer place, no.
Not entirely at the moment, especially where I live in London. There's been a lot of bad crime, so not entirely, no, sorry.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I walk home alone after work and stuff, and I feel safe and everything. I don't feel vulnerable in any way. So I think it has been the sense that I think people have just become more confident as well and everything. So yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so you feel safe where you live now in the UK?
Yes.
Where are you actually from?
The Isle of Wight, so it is pretty safe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
So you definitely feel safe living here in the UK?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, my experience is some parts of the UK probably is not as safe as maybe it's shown, but where I live anyway, I feel like it's a lot safer than maybe it would have been maybe 10 years ago, so that's probably an upside of something.
To a point, I think it's depending on what areas you're in. Because, for example, the area we live in is quite safe, but the street behind it is somewhat dodgy, and it's not the ideal place to be out late at night. So I think it all depends where you live, really.
Right, it's time for a quick ad break, but when we come back, we will have Ashley joining us from the Cloud to talk about the recent survey by the Times Higher Education Board.
This isn't a sandwich. This isn't a sandwich. This is a sandwich. The New York Deli, the only place for lunch.
Established in 1957, Caerphilly Mountain Snack Bar is the oldest of its kind in Wales. Situated just outside of the town centre, it offers a huge range of breakfasts, lunches and drinks. From the classic breakfast roll to the snack bar's very own Mountain Monster Burger. The snack bar is famous for its freshly cooked food and is popular with locals and tourists alike. There are over 20 staff here and all items on the menu are freshly prepared and hand-cooked every day. Be sure to visit the Caerphilly Mountain Snack Bar for the best food Wales can offer.
It's like old times, you hear me coming through your speakers.
Hello and welcome to Tequila Radio.
Tequila Radio, the student radio station for Glamorgan. Live from the atrium, into your ears.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Emma, owner and manager here at Emma Jane's Cupcake Kitchen. We create handmade gourmet cupcakes made with the finest ingredients at reasonable prices. Throughout the year, we hold themed workshops where you can come and learn how to decorate cupcakes. See our website for more details. We have a variety of tastes to suit everybody, including red velvet, vanilla, chocolate, and peanut butter and chocolate chip.
Hello, my name's Tommy Bioletti. I'm from the northwest of England, just outside of Liverpool, a little village that you'll never have heard of called Williston. I enjoy football, especially support Everton Football Club. I love watching Everton. I'm quite pale, and I used to get quite a lot of abuse from that when I was back in high school. I used to get called Casper. I used to do musicals when I was back in high school as well, and I wasn't very good at it really, but I still like to go back to them in the shower and go for the best of it really, and just sing my heart out. So you can catch me on Exposure TV.
Welcome back to Exposure TV.
We are joined now by Ashley, who's going to talk to us about the recent survey from the Times Higher Education Board.
That's right, the Times Higher Education Survey asked more than 12,000 students to rate the quality of lectures, staff, social life and accommodation. And the winner of all of that put together was University of East Anglia, which they came above Oxford and Cambridge.
It's quite surprising.
Yeah, I was quite surprised as well. I think Cambridge was still joint third with someone, but I honestly, because they're very well known and you'd think they would come much higher up. But no, it's the university's Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Nigel Norris, said, I think, he said something I thought it was really nice. I thought it was, he said, our commitment to providing a gold-plated student experience is long-standing and ingrained. And then he goes on to say how the hard work it's all down to the hard work and creativity, not just from the staff, but also from the students. And I think that's just a really nice way to think. I think, especially when doing projects and stuff, it's always nice to kind of feel a unity with it.
Definitely.
So I just thought that's quite, it kind of made sense. And with the government's higher education reforms, there's obviously, it's going to be much more competitive for them to do this survey in the future and to try and beat each other to the best experience. But I thought, seeing as we're talking about university experiences and stuff, you guys could maybe tell us what's your most memorable or most favourite experience of being at university or being a student?
I think first year was my favourite because you get to meet everyone, and then I think like your confidence just really improves like in the first year, and I feel like I've grown so much throughout uni, and you push yourself in ways that you never thought you were capable of and things like that. So it's the people around you, I think, that really make the experience.
Definitely, and linking to what you said about, you know, the unity, it's meeting everyone and making friends that you're going to have for life, really. So
I know, and I think it's just like you just get to learn so many skills, don't you, and do so many different things. But please get in touch with us, all the watchers. If you've got any experiences you would like to share, just tweet us or Facebook us at TV Exposure.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ashley.
That's okay.
Now, throughout Exposure TV and radio, we've been raising money for the charity Tenebus. We went along to the labs to see where that money goes.
I've come down to the University Hospital of Wales to find out more about the Tenebus PhD Studentship Funding Programme.
Okay, so now Rachel is going to show me around where she works. So this is your lab?
Yes, this is one of our labs. That's where we do a lot of our work, a lot of our DNA prep work here. So what we do, we keep all our samples and all our kind of reagents in these massive freezers. So in this one we keep all our clinical samples, so it's generally smear tests, there's some biopsies that have also been taken from our patients. So this is what we do most of our work on. And we do all our work, most of our work up here. These hoods are kept nice and sterile, so we can do our DNA work in them.
Yeah.
So it saves our DNA getting contaminated and getting wasted. And they're all ventilated, so if we open it up, I should put a glove on and open it up. It's all fume hooded, so it's more to protect the samples from anything we do. The samples aren't going to be harmless to us, aren't going to be harmful to us. What we want to do is we want to protect everything and keep it nice and clean and sterile. And also what happens once we finish using it, we do UV it, because what the UV will do is it'll kill anything in there that shouldn't be in there, anything that's going to contaminate our samples. The cells can be quite fussy, shall we say. We don't like to get them contaminated, get them hurt in any way. So everything's very clean. And also to help us kill anything that's in here, we spray everything with ethanol like crazy. Nice and happy.
So that sample there is about
20 odd years, probably about close to my age.
close to 20 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. And you can still use them then to do your research?
Oh yeah, they're super happy. You get other cells which are an awful lot older than these ones, right? We'll bring it up on the screen. You can have a look at the microscope if you want, have a wee look at them. And I'll bring it up on the screen so everyone who's watching can see them. So that's one of our cells at the moment. So what we do is we grow them up and then we can analyse the cells themselves, or we can take the DNA out of them. So we take the DNA out of them using different kits to remove the DNA from the cells, and then we do work in the other lab, like I said, with PCR hoods to find out what's going on inside the cell, what changes are happening. These are from a CIN, so it's a cervical intraepithelial neoplasia, which is pretty much pre-cancer cells that were taken, and what they do is they've changed a lot. It's not just like, I say, taking cells, they've developed into a cell line, so they do grow continuously and they're generally very happy cells. Lots of different people use them in their research and use them either as controls for working with the clinical samples, or they use them to look at what's going on in the cells and what the virus is doing. So yeah, cells are a big part of our work here, whether it be the cell lines, we do some work on primary cells, and it's really important to us because it is helping us forward our understanding of what this virus is doing. So a lot of the experiments we set up here, then we come and run them here. So these are our thermocyclers, which are named after the dwarfs. There was 7 of them, obviously, now.
Oh yeah, Bashful. So we got Bashful, Doc, Sneezy and Dopey.
It amplifies the DNA. So then we're able to detect how much DNA we've got, and detect if we're really interested, if a certain bit of the genome's completed, that we can do a PCR to check if it's there. This is the main lab, which we're doing really big contamination, so you're kind of staying a bit here, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's no problem.
So we run a lot of our samples, they run on gel, and they run them in these tanks. In the main lab we've got tons, and it's full of various chemicals, because normally chemicals come very concentrated and you have to dilute them down, so you end up having like 500 mils and you only need like a mil. So you just end up with tons of bottles of various fluids all over the place. Okay. I always order a chemical that you need a gram of. I've been doing that a lot recently. I've been doing ordering for an experiment plant cell. I just paid so much money, and it's like I need a gram. How much did it come in? 500 grams? No!
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the tour. It's been great.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Well, it's been really interesting finding out about the work the 10 of us do. I'm Lloyd Davis, and you can catch me on Exposure TV.
It really is a great cause, and we are only £53 away from our £200 target, so please get donating. And if you want to help raise the money to fund the labs, then you can donate via our page. If we raise enough money this week, like we said, Alex and Lloyd will be shaving their hair off, so here they are to tell you more.
Hello, I'm Lloyd.
And I'm Alex.
And we are part of the Exposure TV presenting team. Now, over the past 2 weeks, we have been raising money for the 10 of us charity. And to help us raise money, me and Alex have both decided to shave the hair off our heads if you guys can raise £200.
Now, it's dead simple, and there are 2 ways you can do it. The first, you can donate to our Just Giving page, and we'll put the link on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. The second is by phone, so get those thumbs ready. Now, you text to the number 770, that's 770, and what you text is EXTN92, so EXTN92, then you put a £, and then the amount you want to give in pounds.
That's right, it's really simple. So get online and get texting.
So get texting in, guys. Once again, that number is 770. And you need to text to EXTN and the amount that you wish to donate.
Yes, please do get texting in. Now, let's take a trip over to Ashley in the Cloud to see what you've been saying today.
Thank you, Avi. Now, yes, please keep your tweets coming in, guys. Now, we've got one more trip to the cloud, so get tweeting so we can read them all out. We've already heard from quite a lot of you. Hayley says she's looking forward to catching up with the show so far, so I hope that she enjoys what she's seeing. And our next tweet we've got from Chris Wilson, and he says, I'm enjoying the show and I feel safe and well as well. We're glad to hear that. Now, following this morning's trend, it was, do you feel safe in Britain? So please get in contact with us and let us know. Also, thank you so much for your donations so far. You don't understand how excited I am for us to be so close to shaving Lloyd and Alex's head. It's going to be, I can't wait to watch it. It's just going to be fantastic. And also, please don't forget to enter our competition. And don't forget the Twitter address, which is @TV_Exposure. And you can also find us on Facebook under Exposure Radio. Now let's see what's coming up at 3:30.
Before we continue with our presenter challenge, I'd just like to make an amendment to the texting details that I gave you just now. You need to text to 770 EXTN92 with the amount that you'd like to donate.
Now, Ashley, you join us in the demonstration area for today's presenter challenge. So what have we got to do today?
Well, if you are based in the atrium, you may have noticed our Tennis donation box outside the studio. And if you haven't and want to donate some of your clothes to a good cause, then do pop along to the television studio. Anyway, today, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a minute, okay, to dive into the box and put on as many clothes as you can. Literally, if you fight for them, I try and break you up, but I can't promise anything. And then when the time runs out, we'll see who wins. Okay, you ready?
Absolutely. Let's get diving.
3, 2, 1, action. Come on.
Oh, I don't know what this is.
That's a top. You can't.
Oh, is it?
That's a top.
Oh, I thought it was a
you
scarf.
can't use tops as scarves. No, you need
my apologies.
You need to wear it properly.
Oh, I can't get it on.
I've got a dress on.
Quickly, step into it, Abby. You can step into it. You've both gone for floral. That's interesting. Was that a personal choice, or wasn't you drawn to floral? Now you put it on a t-shirt. And Abby, that dress isn't on. That's not on. I've never seen anyone wear a dress like that. Oh, Rachel, she's going for the scarf. She's layering it up. Oh, leather jacket. Very suave. I like your style. Oh, we've got hats on. Careful. Don't get me. Come on, dig deeper. You're all just going for the top. Now she's copying Rachel. Abby is now copying Rachel with the scarf. Oh, shorts. This is interesting.
Okay.
I don't think Rachel's gone for shorts. Rachel, are they trousers?
Sort of.
I thought that was a
They
top.
are now.
No, they are trousers. Oh, I like how you're glitzing it up. Time is up. I got really carried away. Okay.
Lovely, Rachel.
I guess the winner's clear. This is really difficult. I guess I'm going to go with Abby because, you've just really layered it. Although I've got to say, I prefer your outfit. I really think you've got an eye for fashion.
Oh, why, thank you. I glitzing it up here.
Yeah, and it's just
got
the
hat
colours,
on the go.
the floral, and then plain, bold prints, mixed prints.
MC Hammer.
Yeah,
on you.
exactly. It's just like you're mixing seasons. It's amazing.
You definitely have the best fashion sense there, Rachel.
I agree.
Now, do you like prizes? We have some great ones to give away in our competition. So here's more details.
2 pints, 2 wraps, and 2 free entry to Goody Hoo, a voucher for a New York sandwich, a box of 12 free cupcakes, 20% off a personalised pet portrait, 10% off a photography session with Abigail Lewis Photography, £10 voucher for Milgies, a set of Lego,
and signed pictures from Derek Brockway, as well as Welsh internationals Toby Falatau, Ryan Jones and Jonathan Davis.
Simply answer the following question. Tiger Bay is an area in which city? A. Cardiff, B. Newport, or C. Swansea? Tweet your answers using the hashtag Exposure Competition. Answers will be drawn at random on Friday, April 26th via our Twitter. All decisions are final. Prizes will be for collection at an arranged date. You can enter as many times as you like, but of course no one from the Exposure team may enter. Good luck!
Now, what is your view on graffiti? Is it art or vandalism? We went out to Cardiff to investigate some street art and see what there is around the area.
Graffiti is one of the longest surviving art forms dating back from ancient Egyptians and Roman Empire. We went to Elm Street Lane Road to catch up with a couple of local artists.
I'm Sam, I'm part of MK Crew, ASM. I've been doing graffiti for about 4 years. I love it. It's been legal for about 12 years, I think. I mean, I haven't really been doing it that long, but you know, this was year before I started, like way before. But yeah, there's quite a few places in Cardiff. There's got Haley Park up in Llandaff, which is soon to get knocked down, which is going to be a bit lame, but you've got Grangetown, Seven Oaks, like the big field. There's a few back lanes and stuff you can paint, but yeah, this is like a good strip.
Graffiti is a lot more contemporary with elaborate designs and murals. However, it's very controversial with the ongoing argument of, is it actually art? We went to the streets of Cardiff to find out just what people think.
I think it can be both. Depends on who's done it and how much effort they've put into it. Yeah, so there's people like Banksy who do a fantastic job, that is art. And there's other stuff which isn't so good. You know, it's got...
To be honest, I think when it's done tastefully, like when you see it on like shop shutters, I think it's quite a nice way to brighten up the neighbourhood. It's when you see all the really tacky and you've got loads of swearing and stuff that I don't really enjoy watching it then. But when it's done really well, I think it brightens it up really nicely, and I would consider an art form.
Scrawling the name across the wall, that's definitely vandalism, but if it's a piece of actual street art, then that is art, isn't it?
So murals and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's art.
I think it depends on where and when it is, but generally I'd deem it as an art form.
Why do you think it's an art form?
Because there's like restricted places to where artists can display their work, so sometimes like looking around you may think that certain like walls or buildings may look better with something on. So when things are like damaged through graffiti, I don't necessarily agree with it, but when it enhances a place, I think it's definitely a benefit.
Well, it's all down to basically someone's expression. Just if someone wants to daub something on a wall or someone else's property, then that is probably going to be vandalism. But art is something from the heart, and you express it. It can be in many forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be graffiti.
Very interesting piece there.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was also some talk of Banksy in that video as well, and we were looking into him earlier, weren't we?
We were indeed.
And looking at some of his work. And I think it's interesting that he makes quite a lot of political statements through his work, doesn't he?
Definitely.
And I think it's quite a cool way to get young people thinking about politics.
Yeah.
You know, some young people may not be interested in it. And I think it could really get people thinking about...
Absolutely, and Banksy himself, he's definitely seen as an artist as opposed to someone that vandalises buildings, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Well, he had an exhibition in Bristol as well, didn't he?
He did.
And that was very interesting to see. He was putting his pictures in between some really elaborate sculptures and things like that to really make a statement and get people thinking. And there were people queuing for around the block, so that was
definitely. And also it attracts young people and people of all ages really to go to museums.
Have you seen much graffiti around Cardiff?
I've seen a little. I've seen some graffiti that I personally wouldn't class as art. But I also have, I'm not sure of the road, in Roath, in Cathays, sorry, not Roath, in Cathays there's a little mural on a wall, which is really nice. But for you guys at home, you should definitely tweet us in pictures or what you think about graffiti as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I know that I've seen like a lot of graffiti when I've been coming into Cardiff on the train. And there's a lot under the train bridges, but most of that has been people writing their names, and I think that could be seen as vandalism, really. So I think, you know, if it's more arty, then it's a little more acceptable.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we're nearly out of time for today, but we have time for one more last trip to the cloud. So Ashley, how are the tweets?
We've got a few more in, and a big thanks to all of the tweeters and Facebookers. Jamie Lewis says that he's loving the show so far, and Rebecca has tweeted in, and she has said that the presenter challenge was hilarious, but she also thinks that Rachel should have won, and now I feel like I did my judging wrong, so thanks, Rebecca. And I think we had a last-minute tweet come in from Ellie Dean, and she's very excited to see Alex and Lloyd with no hair. Such a good cause, and she's right, it really is a good cause. But thanks for those, and remember to keep all of those tweets coming in. And if you feel like tweeting us at 3 in the morning, then we will try our best to read them out tomorrow.
Ashley is now coming over to join us for Entertainment Talk. Now, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the launch of It's Love Actually on Sky Living. And this programme takes a tongue-in-cheek look at modern couples, and there's interviews shown with them, and they ask them questions, ranging from their relationships with their in-laws to their bad habits that they have to put up with because they love each other. And a survey was actually conducted of 2,000 people. And they basically wanted to find out the top reasons why people say I love you. And you looked into this a little bit, didn't you?
I did. Some of the reasons weren't as obvious as you'd think, actually. Some of the reasons were telling your partner that you love them when they spoil you, or maybe when you're proud of them when you go out on a night out. So, I mean, that's something that you can definitely relate to, but it wouldn't be the first thing that would come into my head when I'm thinking about telling a partner that I love them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm quite surprised that I didn't see on there, telling someone you love them when you're leaving. Yeah. Or even, on the phone if you live in long distance. That wasn't on the list, was it? I was quite shocked at that.
Well, I always thought when you say I love you, I don't think you could say these specific reasons. And so I thought it's just like, you felt when you said it, but I guess they're not necessarily talking about the first time you say it. I guess it's very different. But maybe it's so, like, we've got some of the reasons here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like hidden under. And it's your other half doing the housework and looking after you, which it is sweet, but then it's just like, how many times are these people saying I love you to each other?
Yeah. I think also at the same time, we may have we're all female. I think we may be having a bit of a one-sided view here too, because there's definitely, the saying actions speak louder than words. And I know in the study, the majority of men did say that, that their partner should already know, and they don't have to say and tell them that they love them for them to understand.
Maybe for men, it's more about the occasional romantic gesture, like a bunch of flowers or something, or rose petals up the stairs. I don't know whatever.
Sounds
really.
Very romantic.
Yeah, it's never happened to me. I'm living in a dream world, I think.
23% of the people that did take the survey said that they felt strong love when the other half made a lot of work for housework around the house.
So a lot of this is like looking after the other person.
Yeah.
It's very much like when you do something for me, I'll say it. When you get me a present or other ones. This one's nice, but it's number 20. So it's like at the last, it says, on a night out when you realise you are proud of them. Is that like if they do something unexpected?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Maybe that they're really getting on with their friends or something.
Oh no, because that is always nice to see.
Yeah.
Everything meshes well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Do you think you were going to be tuning into the programme, girls? It's Love Actually.
It does sound interesting.
It does, definitely.
Yeah. As soon as you say it though, I thought of the film and I was like, wait, what? Is it just they're showing the film like every day?
Definitely. Great. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. So thanks for joining us. It's goodbye from me, Abby Bourne.
And me, Ashley Wheeler.
And me, Rachel Thomas. Join us again at 3:30 for more Exposure TV.